Hi, you're listening to the Colourworks podcast, a monthly podcast for business owners and managers looking to improve the way that their people work together. We are specialists in people development, with particular applications in team working, leadership, customer service, and organisational culture. We've been going since 2003 and have so far had the pleasure of working with over 100,000 people across the private, public and not-for-profit sectors. Our mission is to create vibrant workplaces in which all people feel valued and get heard, where communication is honest and clear, decision-making timely and robust, and authentic leadership filters throughout the organisation.
Hi, and thank you for tuning into the Colourworks podcast. My name is James Hampton, and I'll be hosting today's show. My role here at the Colourworks is to support our team and design and deliver bespoke programs based on our clients' team, leadership, and culture needs. In this second episode, we're going to take a deep dive into purpose, values, and behaviours through the experience of one of our recent clients, Eric Sey. Eric is a director and chartered architect at Brightspace, with a proven track record in end-to-end design and delivery of developments for both public, private, and public-private partnerships. Eric has been instrumental in the realisation of a number of regeneration initiatives that have benefited from his experience in land promotion, negotiation, and consultation throughout the planning process. Eric leads the Practice Design Directorate and Staff and Training Programme and is responsible for driving the continual development of Brightspace's people and the value this brings to the business. Welcome, Eric, and thank you for taking the time to join us on the show today.
Hi, and thank you for having us.
An absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So just to start the ball rolling, Eric, can you tell us a bit about Brightspace and some of the standout projects that your team has designed?
Brightspace was formed 9 years ago by myself and three friends. We'd worked together for a number of years. We had to leave behind the environment we were in and took the opportunity to take back control of our work. So in that time, we've built a great team of 27 people. We've moved into a great office in the countryside in Fordingbridge, and we've done some really good work with some really great people. We kind of love the possibilities and opportunities we have as individuals and as a business. You have to take the underutilized, the unloved, the missed opportunity, the forgotten and the broken, and try and create something new, something hopefully which will be amazing. And we want to create amazing places for people to live and to work and play. In terms of the projects we've been doing and our track record, obviously residential homes across a wide spectrum, from land promotion through the recent NPPF process with the government asking for new land for homes for people to live in, through to blocks of flats, bespoke homes, and also individual homes for affluent individuals, both in the UK and abroad. We also work on a lot of local regeneration and mixed-use projects in the Bournemouth area. Madeira Road, some people might know locally. Also Bury Court, which is one of the first build-to-rent schemes outside of London, and the Winter Garden scheme, which is a major transformation of the town centre. We also work in a commercial capacity, offices and factories for people like Reed Steel, who are a local steel fabricator and a subcontractor. Wallgate, who make all those fancy machines in motorway service stations that wash your hands, and people like Thurk, who all local firms who are wanting to effectively move on from their current premises or develop their current premises to make them more efficient, make a better working environment. And we're also involved with a great portfolio of hotel projects across the country. Particularly with an innovative hotel brand, which we really enjoy working with. But we also do other smaller projects. We're sorting out the changing rooms at Fordingbridge Sports Ground. Some of our younger staff are involved in that. So it's not all big shiny stuff. It's right across the range. But we take everything from an idea. It might just be a chance conversation. It might just be a chance remark. Right the way through to concepts, to planning approvals, working drawings, through tendering process, contract delivering on site, and completion. So for us, it's not an intellectual exercise; it's an exercise in getting stuff done, and we want to see an outcome to the work that we do.
It must be a fascinating process when you arrive at a site or a location to see the potential of it. You must have these X-ray vision goggles that you must put on before you arrive there to see what it can be and the possibilities.
The opportunities and the possibilities are really what fires us up. It's very exciting. Usually the first few months or years of a project are a real roller coaster, and sometimes you arrive and you talk to perhaps it's a client or established client that you have, and sometimes they don't really know what they want to do, and sometimes it's down to us as visionaries, as people who can think blue sky without the restrictions perhaps in the early days of thinking about budget or construction methodology, just looking around and seeing what can be achieved, particularly when you've got an urban site or a town centre site where you can see opportunities to improve the environment and create great places.
Wonderful. When you talk about this, I can see the passion oozing from you, particularly when it comes down to that regeneration piece. Where did this all start for you?
Well, it tends to start usually with your mum and dad. I joke, but my mother's an artist and my father's an engineer.
A healthy combination.
Yeah, I love creating stuff. My father had a workshop, lots of tools, lots of junk lying around. What he didn't have in the way of junk that he didn't throw away, I found in skips. I used to build crazy stuff. Some of it was absolutely lethal, but my passion was really getting stuff done, building, creating new things, inventing new things. And it was either that or sailing. Sailing is my other passion, laterally biking. But it was really all about creativity. And school was inconvenient to me. It was just a waste of time.
Yeah,
I was pretty hopeless. My mum actually said to me, she said, "You got to find a way forward with this. You can't just have dirty hands and make stuff. There's no output to this. This is just crazy. You've got to find something which harnesses your practical skills and your creativity." And she suggested architecture. To be honest with you, I didn't give it much thought, and it sounded like a good idea, so I kind of went for it. And actually, it was the making of me. It was somewhere where I could use my creativity. It was very challenging because design is always challenging. And the sense of achievement I got, I absolutely loved it. And I really excelled, both through my university career and then forward into the real world. It was great to be able to use my passion, my kind of purpose in life. It was amazing.
And that purpose is known to be the reason that something exists or why we do what we do. At what point did you really realise that this is it? This is my purpose. This is what I want to do.
It was probably 2 weeks into arriving at university in Dundee. I realised that someone had just given me all the ingredients, all the tools that I really needed in order to satisfy my inner kind of motivations, my purpose. That was the point. But then, as you move forward through university, which is really an intellectual exercise. I mean, university is all about practice, isn't it? It's about learning. It's about developing. It was really when I was allowed is the wrong word, in the working environment to actually do something real, to actually take something, a real site, a real client, a real brief, a real opportunity, and actually create something that I had created. I'd worked with someone's thoughts. I'd worked with them on their brief. I'd worked on working out what their aspirations were, and we created something that actually fulfilled that and actually worked, and it had a benefit to not just the client, but also had a benefit to the end users. And actually, I think it was something that benefited everyone, because it took something which was broken and unloved and made it into something which had value.
Lovely. And in the typical words of Simon Sinek's why, that gives me the essence of that's your why.
Yeah, that's my why.
Lovely. Well, some people move through life and don't have the opportunity to really explore this. What sort of value do you think being able to consciously and clearly articulate this why or purpose has brought to you?
I must admit, I spent a lot of time not really understanding my why, and it's really only come to me in the last few years through speaking with a good friend of mine who's also a client, who introduced me to the concept of why. So I've been on a journey of post-rationalization of my life, trying to work out, well, what is my why and how did this all come about? Because there's obviously something moving me forward, compelling me to do things. So it's been late for me, but I'm not really sure whether that's normal or not normal. But in terms of how do I move things forward? I'm starting to understand more about myself and starting to make a conscious effort to align my work life and my personal life to my why and minimize all the things that get in the way of the why. And that goes for the kind of business that I want to do, the kind of projects I want to work on, the way I want to work with people in the business, with my staff, things that I really enjoy doing, I want to do more of. I want to also cut out and make conscious decisions about who I work with, who I'm friends with, how I share my personal time, and to minimize the negative and take that away. So, if you like, the knowledge of your why is actually helping to make my life better. It will hopefully make me more fulfilled than I am at the moment. It will make me happier. And I think also having a very clear purpose in life, if you can't help but communicate that to people through your actions and through your behaviors, through what you do, what you achieve. And I think people genuinely like other people who are very clear and very concise about what they're doing. They can understand them and they can latch onto that. And I think already I've found people who share that kind of, who understand that, who maybe know their why, and we've kind of got together and we're friends, and I'm hoping that I will attract, or I will be able to find other people who also have that clarity as well, because I think people with that kind of clarity have an advantage in life, and I think those are sort of people that are going to go somewhere, and not only that, you can see where they're going, which is, I think, a great thing.
It's really, really interesting. And in answer to your question around that time of life that you might find your why or be focused on it, at the core of our why or our purpose lies our values. And since the day we're born and we're progressing throughout life, our values evolve when we go through process as to what we need in our lives, or those that we need to surround ourselves with in life. And so the progression of our values as they move through can evolve and change. And at the core, in our subconscious, lies our core set of values, which are shaped over time, but they inform our thinking and our perceptions and our decision makings. And it's our values that are the springboard to the future that we might shape. In fact, my most favorite values quote is, values are like fingerprints, and nobody's are the same, but you leave them over everything you do, which is by Elvis Presley.
Right. I didn't know that Elvis Presley was that insightful.
No, that's probably why I like it so much as well. It came out of the blue for me, that one. So that's brilliant. Could you tell us a little bit about how your values surface when you're with a client consulting on design?
Yeah, I mean, we've done a piece of work with the Colourworks around our mission, our purpose, and also our values. And I think, fortunately, I'm blessed. I'm going to divert slightly here. I'm blessed with the fact that I'm in business with two other guys who actually share a lot of my values, and we're quite different people, different strengths, different market sectors, different abilities. We have this diversity, but we share very similar values, and we hold what's important. There's a great degree of commonality there. Mm-hmm. So we've actually done a piece of work on this as part of the program we've been on with the Colourworks, and actually the values for our business are actually perfectly aligned to my own values and the values of how we deal with our customers and our people in our business. They're common to everything, which is a great place to be in.
Yes.
I mean, we actually have three, very simple. One is be creative. That's a major thing for me. It's a major thing for the business. And there really are no boxes and no stupid ideas. There are kind of good ideas, and we recognise that they can come from anywhere and anyone, anytime. The second one is be proactive. It's about taking the initiative, to find solutions, to create new relationships. It's all about being out there, making it easy for everyone else to engage with you. And the third one is building relationships. It's all about the people. Our business is all about people. There are really only two things in life that matter. One is people and one's planet. Our business is driven by people. We like to believe we have an influence over the planet in some small way, and we're working on that one. But people, it is fundamental to what we do and who we are. And we actually have a fourth one, which is a kind of under the radar value,
right?
Which is get shit done, because otherwise it really is all for nothing.
Yeah.
In the creative industries, and I include whether it be graphic design, architecture, car design, it could be anything. There is a lot of time and energy effectively expended in very intellectual exercises of creating design, creating an output. But sometimes it's not manifested in anything with any material value.
Right.
And I think that we're not one of those architectural practices, and I'm not the sort of person who wants to dream about architecture, dream about design, dream about new places and making a difference, exerting positive change over the world. We don't dream about this. We want to get it done. And originally our the get shit done was get it done. But the shit bit really does, I think, underline the imperative.
Right.
Yeah.
Presumably that one's not being published on the website.
I'm actually a fan, but because of my character, I like being very straight with people. But we'll wait and see. But it's a debate that we'll have, whether or not that is a public one or not. But certainly we'll be talking about it. Whether we put it up on a website or not is a different matter.
One for internal dialogue. I have to divert just briefly and compliment you on your website. It's a great interactive website, and also like your bio pictures, which depicts you. And if you have a moment, just do log on to the www.brightspace website and click on the About Us and have a look at Eric at age on your bio picture.
Was this the baby pictures?
It is, yeah.
All right, because it used to be sporting pictures, hobbies. Age, crikey. I think I was probably just over a year old, I suspect.
Just far from having a pencil and a ruler in your hand at that time.
I've probably had crayons. Yeah. I've been living my life one crayon at a time ever since. But yeah.
Quite a nice philosophy. Philosophy. So back on track. Having done this work around the values with your directors, what's been the immediate impact on relationship communication within the leadership team?
I think the biggest thing for us, we'd been talking for probably 3 or 4 years now about what we wanted to do. This question of where we're going, it was one that my co-directors and myself were really struggling with. When we set up 9 years ago, our mission was to survive, create an architectural practice the way that we wanted it. And it was really exciting.
Mm-hmm.
The original mission is really substantially complete. And we started to question ourselves. I mean, what did we want from our business? Where do we want to take it? What do we want the future to be? And our business has really prospered. It's been amazing. But it's been a product of our collective values and our ambitions. But it had been done almost subconsciously.
And that's organically happened along the way.
We really had no clarity on our mission or our vision for the future. So already we feel more energized. We've come up with a great why. We've got a statement for that. And we've come up with some values that we are all 100% behind. and we're excited about those things. And we've started working on our vision and how we, what it is, how the tangibles, how that gets driven through our business plan, how it gets delivered by the many people in our business, and how they have a role to play in that. So, if you like, it's a process that's re-energized us, I think, as individuals and as a business. It's given us clarity. It's given us a bit more confidence, and it's going to through our visions, our vision for the business. It will give some real tangible direction for all sorts of elements from our business, whether it be the design, our customers, our people, the way we manage ourselves, how we deliver our financial profile. It's about our future, and I think it's been an empowering thing. Very powerful.
That's absolutely brilliant, and some pretty good descriptions around the actual impact. So, at what point did you realise that it would be important to take this step, and what was the process behind getting here?
I've got a very dear friend who kept banging on about purpose, and he kept asking me questions about the business, and he's a bit of a sort of if you like, a very interesting character, very driven, and very intelligent, and he reads an awful lot. And he was sharing all these insights with me, and at the time when we started to sort of wonder about our future, it was an opportunity to throw into the ring that we really did need to understand where we're going to go. We needed to go on a journey together to make a new future, and we had a go at it ourselves. We had a number of conferences. We have a conference every year, sometimes twice a year, where we'd actually talk about what we wanted to do. But it didn't really have a context to it. It was just a list of, like, this would be great. Let's have more personal time, more money, more. Let's do better projects. Let's have more wonderful staff. Let's have a shinier office. All these things. They didn't have any. There's no framework. There was no underlying like glue that would stick it all together. There wasn't something to get behind. So we got to a point where, seeing as I'm in charge of staff and development within our business, started to think about, well, really, we do need someone to assist us in this process. We do need someone to stand and amongst us and tell us how to do it, and also to act as a sounding board for some of the stuff that comes out of that, and to help us. We're not, we're architects. We're not expert in this sort of stuff. We needed to reach out to somebody. So on a recommendation from a colleague, a consultant that we worked with quite a bit, and also a long-standing friend, we invited the Colourworks to a meeting, and Giles turned up for a chat with myself and one of my co-directors. Bit of a beauty parade with a few other people, and he started asking questions about our business, which actually were beyond the brief that we'd perhaps come up with. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions was, what is our mission? What is our purpose? And there was a bit of a silence, and I had a bit of a go at answering the question, and fluffed it. Came up with a load of fairly random things that weren't well connected. And Giles turned around and said, "Bullshit." Bit of a quiet moment, but the Colourworks was in, and we started working on the answers.
Brilliant. So I guess it wasn't the beauty parade that won you over. It was the direct questioning of Giles.
I think it was the cutting through. We were probably looking at more of a process-driven solution. The reality was staring us in the face, and it was just the fact that Giles immediately sort of found that weakness, found that missing piece, and came out with it. And I think the direct approach was something that I found quite refreshing. Mm-hmm. I didn't want all the technobabble and all the speak and flow charts and all that other stuff. We really did want some real answers, and we wanted to ask ourselves some questions, and wanted to ask them properly. And we thought that Giles's response was exactly the response we probably didn't want to hear, but it's what we needed.
Sometimes the answers that you're searching for live in the places that you don't want to look.
Yeah.
And seemingly that's what got brought to the table that day.
Yeah, and I must admit it's been an exciting journey and actually really enjoyable. We found out we've learned a lot about ourselves, and it's brought us together. I think it has brought us together. I think it's very easy for us as business people to work away in our own little kind of spheres of experience and client bases and work that we do. We all work differently. My partners, we all work in different kind of areas of the business, and it's very easy to become quite isolated. And I think sharing something as powerful as a mission and to clarify the values and to create that vision for the future, the sort of behaviours, the outcomes that we want to achieve, has been immensely positive. So we're on the journey right now, but it's great, and I think it's exactly what we needed.
Brilliant,
Exactly.
brilliant. So how do you plan on keeping these values alive within the leadership team?
The main thing for us was number one, we're in the process of creating our vision, and we needed to create something which was succinct enough and simple enough and straightforward enough for people to get a grip on. So we created some statements. And it's around 5 areas of our business. So one of them is about design and creativity.
Yeah, great.
Another one's about our customers. That's kind of marketing, but it was also about our customers. Another one about our people. And when I say our people, I mean our people in our business.
Yeah.
About the management of our business, the processes and getting things to work. So we're sort of set free to do all the cool stuff. And our financial management. So we've very simply broken those down, and each one has a statement to it, and it describes where we want to be in the future and the sort of behaviours we want from ourselves and from perhaps our customers, the environment, the output of work, the output in terms of work, where we want that to be, and those visions are effectively stand there. They inform our business plan. So out of some of those, it might affect, who we work with, how we work, what sectors we're going to be in. We talk about trust. We talk about enjoying working with people. So that will impact upon all the little bits of detail, those measurables of X% of this, and the processes we might develop, the marketing campaigns we push through, and then below that there's an operational imperative. Mm-hmm. So these 5 visions are effectively cornerstones of our business, and they're delivered through a directorate. It's just basically a group of guys and girls in our business that are specifically allocated to an area where they might be necessarily have the best fit, perhaps, or an experience or an ability, and that group have the remit to deliver at an operational level that vision.
Brilliant. Okay. So this is being weaved into the fabric of your organization through these project groups.
Yeah, and it's not just about us pushing our will down through our visions, which we're sharing those visions with our staff in the next couple of weeks to just show where they're going. But again, they're going to want to know a lot of detail about this. So you need to get those groups working, and they need to be focused in around. They need to be asked, how are we going to deliver this? How are you? What's your thoughts? How does that happen? And they'll come up with some really crazy ideas and some amazing ideas and some not so crazy ideas about how that might happen. So everyone in our business has this remit, okay, and the opportunity to contribute. So we're expecting also from them, and the expectation is quite clear, an updraft of ideas from them. Operationally, yes, but also if there's some good stuff, that comes out of working with perhaps that vision, saying, guys, have you actually thought about you guys, you owners, you directors of this business, what about? So we're looking for that updraft. We can make decisions about that. We can say, well, that's fantastic. Do a piece of work on that. Let's adopt that. Let's not do that. That's a terrible idea. So we can explore those ideas. So the updraft is there. Everyone, as I say, has this remit, and everyone has an ability to contribute. And everyone has a part to play in delivering our vision, and to share in making it happen, and to share in the success that hopefully our vision will bring in the future.
This is really powerful, Eric, isn't it? Because what you're creating here is an inclusive culture, which will drive engagement and have benefits right across the business, not just on the financial income, but on your employee retention, in your levels of engagement, in how people represent you as a business out there when they're really living the values that have been flown up and down and across the organization. So brilliant to hear that you're taking those steps of engagement and getting everyone's thoughts as to how meaningful is this to you on a personal level? How do you do it? How do you live this organizational value?
Yeah, our business has been it's been a product of us as directors, the founders of the company. It was our desire to take control, to move out of a more corporate environment and create a new business the way we wanted it, which was at the forefront of why Brightspace was formed. And in terms of how Brightspace is as a business, it is a product of our own ambitions, our own values, our aspirations for the future, and unconsciously we kind of attracted people to the business and staff to the business that shared those values.
Yeah.
And I think laterally we've become more aware, more conscious about how important those values actually are, what our mission is, and we're making an effort to attract people to the business that share those values, share those intrinsic traits, because in that way it's easier. You end up with a harmonious business, and there's huge benefits in terms of fostering that family feel that we've been working on really hard.
Yeah,
and it also has benefits in terms of people being engaged with your business, staff retention, the way people are around clients. People believe in your business and are passionate about your business and really get who you are and what you are. That whole kind of the cohesiveness and the feeling of family and the feeling of having each other's backs, that consistency as well, that reads really well with clients and has huge benefits in terms of trust and engagement, and that leads to bigger relationships, and some of these relationships are now personal relationships. That we and our people have, and that brings about repeat business. We're the first people that people call when they've got an idea or a problem. I think it's win-win all the way around.
I think you're absolutely right as well, and filtering these values right the way through the organisation. What you're effectively doing as a byproduct is reinforcing and creating the culture that your people will live in as well. And typically, culture can be described as the way that we do things around here.
Yeah,
especially when the boss ain't looking.
The cultural thing is quite tough. I make no pretense. We've got a lot of work to do in our business. I mean, I think we've got the raw ingredients. I'm immensely proud of our people, all of them. They all deserve to be there. They're all amazing people. They've got huge ability, hard work, focus, sometimes a bit more of a challenge, creative industries always are. But no, I'm immensely proud of our people. And one of the challenges with having three heads in a business, and we're a flat structure, it's very much a collaborative organization. It's us three, and there's the business, is that we are individuals. And whilst we do share these common values, you're going to get a different answer to the same question,
of course,
in a number of cases. So we've got a lot of work to do in terms of consistency of leadership in our business.
Eric, I understand all this is in its infancy, and you've done some great work in the time that you've been working on this. And personally, it makes me very proud to hear that you've taken the work that the Colourworks has done with you and really brought it to life. So I certainly commend you on doing that above your day job as well. And possibly you could come back in a short time and tell us how it's going and what traction you've gathered.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to do so. We're probably not in a headlong hurry to. We've probably take a little bit of time to sort this out. So we have got a day job in amongst the project work and the one-to-one relationships that we hold as directors with key clients, with the management of the business, and then obviously the more strategic element, this high-level pass. We're going to be pretty busy for the next 6 months, I suspect, on all of this stuff. But I'll be very glad to come back and share with you where we got to, and perhaps talk about some of the wins that we're beginning to experience. It's a great journey to be on, and it's great to be on a journey with the Colourworks, who really have stirred things up for us, and asking some pretty difficult questions. But it's really great to delve into those, not feel afraid, to have confidence to move forwards and know that what you're doing is the right thing to do. It's not answering the easy questions; it's answering the difficult ones.
Brilliant. Well, Eric, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today, and I'd like to really thank you for taking the time out again to come and join us. If any of our listeners would like to get in touch with you, how could they reach you?
The internet is a good starting point. So it's brightspacearchitects.com, and we're also on Facebook, LinkedIn, and some other social media platforms that are a mystery to me. If you use the power of the interweb, you'll get hold of us.
Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you. And if you'd like to know more about purpose, values and behaviours and how the Colourworks can support your organisation, please go to www.thecolourworks.com and click on the Solutions tab on the homepage. Tune into our next podcast, where we'll be talking about trust and healthy conflict and the value it brings in organisations.
We hope you found this episode insightful and interesting. If you want more information on today's topic, then head to thecolourworks.com and look for our Solutions tab on the main menu. If you want to be notified of new podcast releases and other useful people development resources, then please subscribe to our mailing list and follow us on social media at The Colourworks. We're active on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and LinkedIn, and we look forward to seeing you over there. Do you want to see the impact we can have on your organisation? Then get in touch through our website or email the team on inquiries@thecolourworks.com. Thanks for listening. See you next time.